Hello, Cancer. I'm Poetic Heretic, and this is your October 2019 tarot forecast. So I'm going to be doing a tarot reading for you here for the month of October to see what additional information, after having looked at your astrology, we can find out for you. Now, I'm also using the Tarot of Vampires deck by Ian Daniels. Since it is Halloween this month, and I thought, why not give the tarot readings for each sign sort of spooky, dark, vampire kind of vibe for Halloween? Why the hell not? All right, so remember, this applies if you're a Cancer sun, rising, or moon. And without further ado, let us begin. We would like a Celtic cross forecast for the sign of Cancer for the month of October 2019. Let's see what we get. What will be the energy for all Cancerian people in October of 2019? A Celtic cross for all Cancer people for October 2019. All right, we are locked. The Six of Knives, the Empress, the Devil, the Six of Skulls, the Magician, the Ten of Skulls, the Hanged Man reversed, the Three of Skulls reversed, the Ten of Scepters reversed, and a final outcome card of the Sun. I guess I should probably hold these up a little bit longer than just a second or two, but I'll be showing them all more closely as we do the actual reading. So, as I like to do, give me just a moment here before we officially begin the reading for me to take all of this energy and information in and get a real feel for what the reading is saying, so then I can dive in and tell you what I believe it's really getting at, rather than just sort of going through without that foundation of awareness first. So give me just a moment here. Let me just analyze all of this. This is quite the dynamic spread. It really is. Interesting. Okay. I think I see more of what's going on here now. And there are things manifesting. There's likely the end of what might have been a difficult period of time. There's far more enjoyment. There's some kind of challenge coming at you, but nothing too bad. Okay. All right. Let us dig in officially now. You're beginning the month with the Six of Knives. I'll hold that up to the camera. This represents your current outside influences right around the beginning of the month. And this card corresponds to the Six of Swords in a classic tarot deck, by the way. So, the Six of Knives or the Six of Swords can sort of go one of two main ways, at least in the way that I've always experienced it and read it. The first is a little more difficult, and it's this idea of having to move on and move forward from something that may have been a difficult situation. The second, though, is more positive, which it still sort of talks about this idea of moving on, but it's much more like, oh, we're able to move forward and proceed in general with a positive attitude and with mental clarity. And usually it's an indicator of having sort of like good contacts, like supportive, very clear-minded people who are able to assist you on your path. So basically what I'm interpreting this as in this reading is that Cancerian people everywhere are overall largely going to be feeling that they're moving forward a lot in the beginning of October, moving forward, making new progress, a lot of times with a rather positive attitude and almost scientific attitude. This card is connected to the idea of science in some very interesting ways that I guess we don't have time to get into right now, but if you want to look that stuff up, it's out there. So overall, a very positive card to get, I would say. Even if you're having to move on from a difficult situation, the fact that you're moving on from that is still a very positive thing. So know that to be a positive thing. For your challenge card, you got the Empress. Here's the rendition of the Empress in this tarot deck. Now, my camera does not always want to focus, sadly, and it's hard for me to make it focus. Oh, there we go. So sometimes it's going to be able to, and sometimes it just isn't when I hold up the cards for your viewing pleasure. And normally I wouldn't show every single card like this, but since we're just using this deck for this month, I thought I would take a bit to show each one for maybe like 30 seconds or so. All right, so the Empress for the challenge card. Well, the Empress is all about beauty and enjoying life, blessings, nature, She rules over nature. She rules over time. Even she is essentially at one with all of the cycles of nature and stuff like that. This showing up for your challenge, I mean, geez, it's almost like saying that maybe for many of you, there won't be much of a challenge in October. There's just going to be this positive energy of the Empress and the blessings that she brings. And I wouldn't just be saying that if I didn't think that could be the case either, by the way. But if we look at it in other ways, we could say, oh, well, your challenge, or maybe even just your theme this month, could be to be more like the Empress, or being more like the Empress would be more helpful to you. Things like getting out into nature, being more receptive and open, enjoying the luxuries of life, sort of luxuriating in life and the pleasures of life. And that is also backed up by the very next card, which we're going to come to in a moment. Let me think if there's anything else I should say about this. Well, the Empress, it's a very sort of extroverted, optimistic, feminine energy. And so while the extroverted part is maybe not natural to Cancerian people out there, this card may be sort of nudging you in that direction a little bit, and also in the direction of optimism and just more openness to new things. And openness to new things is often, I would say, a Cancerian trait. So that's something that you shouldn't have a problem with. But so there you go. A couple of different possibilities with the Empress card. For the underlying energy, everything forming a foundation for your current situation and your immediate environment, you got the Devil card. Oh boy. Let's hold that up to the camera for a bit. Does it want to focus or does it not? Guess not. Oh well. Okay, well, it's interesting when we get the Devil card in this deck in particular, because while all of the cards in this deck correspond to the classic Rider-Waite structure of the tarot, the Devil card in this deck specifically is a lot more like what we find in the Thoth tarot deck by Aleister Crowley. And that is that rather than having a more negative connotation, it's far more about enjoying the physical pleasures of life. The Devil in this sense being associated with physicality, and not even in a negative way at all. Now, it's interesting, though, because this is like, again, the underlying energy, the foundation. This is like often talking about people around you and like who and or what may be supporting you. And so you could say that a lot of people around Cancers everywhere this month are going to be enjoying a lot of physical pleasures, enjoying the pleasures of life. But this is still in some way supportive of you, Cancer. It is supportive of you. It's forming a foundation for your month. And so it's not like they will get to experience all the pleasures and you won't. My intuition tells me that a lot of the pleasures that they're experiencing are going to spill over into your own life and be with you this month. And again, it's interesting how we got the Empress for the challenge card saying, oh, luxuriate in life, enjoy the pleasures of life. And then we got the Devil card for the underlying energy as if to say even more, yes, this is a time where you can let yourself just relax a little bit and enjoy the physical pleasures of life. Now, obviously, there's going to be some limit to that in terms of it being advantageous or ideal. Too much of any good thing is not good, but I'm sure that you know where that limit is, and so allow yourself to enjoy is what this card is saying to you. Other people around you are apparently enjoying, so why shouldn't you? For the past issues you've had to deal with that have then led to the present, you got the Six of Skulls. This corresponds to the Six of Pentacles in a classic tarot deck. So the Six of Skulls or Six of Pentacles very often talks about the idea of payoff and rewards, getting paid for work that you've done in some way, shape, or form, whether that's literally or more figuratively. So this really isn't indicating any extremely difficult issues in your recent past. Although, let's see, with some of what we have coming up, there may be some of you out there who have had some difficulties surrounding like getting the payment or rewards for work that you've done that you deserve in the recent past. But this is talking about that sort of situation. It's also talking about the idea of generosity, of acting with integrity, of helping those in need, that sort of thing. And it's interesting because it's another six. You got the Six of Knives earlier. So 2 6s in this spread. Sixth house of your work and your health, your day-to-day activities, your schedule, that sort of thing. While your astrology mainly activates your 4th and 5th house this month, this reading is saying, hey, your 6th house is also a little bit active as well. Or at least, I guess in this sense, it was active with this being the past, but it's at least in part still active with the Six of Knives being your current outside influences. And so again, that's saying like progress, making positive progress and having a positive attitude in the area of your work, your health, your schedule, your day-to-day activities, and things of that nature. Sixth house also rules day-to-day contacts, people that we see on a regular basis. It can talk about siblings and family members. Also rules pets, if anyone's interested in that, or just to throw that out there. Obviously, there's plenty of people interested in pets. I didn't mean it that way, but there you go. All right. For what you hope to achieve, you got the Magician card. This represents what you're reaching for this month, your highest hope, your highest wish in the month of October. And it goes right along with what we've been talking about already. Don't think it's going to focus. All right. The Magician card is so often about new beginnings and openings and initiation and starting something new. It's the first card of the major arcana, in fact. And so we were just looking at earlier the card saying, oh, be open to new things. And you're beginning October by making progress, by moving forward. And what this is saying, and falling in what you hope to achieve, is saying that you're wanting to start something new this month. And I would say the very beginning of October being right after the new moon, good time to begin new things. I mean, technically, if you really want to get right down to it, September 28th, the exact day of the new moon, would be even better for beginning new things. But, different people have different opinions on this, but I tend to be of the opinion that if it's close to the new moon, especially if it's like immediately following the new moon, that's close enough. And that's a great time for starting new things. So that is quite awesome. Now, the Magician talks about other things too, though. It talks about the idea of being able to recreate your reality as you see fit, of taking the materials that you have, that the world sort of presents to you, and using your mind, using your intellect to reassemble them in some way so as to recreate them. It's the idea of again, we sort of alluded to this earlier, the scientist or science being able to take the naturally occurring things of the world and assemble them into some kind of technology that is beneficial to yourself and or others. And so that idea of recreating your reality as you see fit is what you're reaching for this month, but also the idea of new beginnings. And that's going to factor in later on as well. All right, so in the near future, you have the 10 of Skulls. This would be the first week or two of the month. And this card corresponds to the 10 of Pentacles in a classic tarot deck. Well, congratulations, because the 10 of Skulls is a very positive card indeed. It's one of manifestation, especially manifestation of your goals or manifestation in a career-related sense, a financial-related sense. It's a card indicating great harmony, success, the materialization of wealth, all of these sorts of great things, harmony with one's family as well. And it's interesting how in your astrology, we saw all of these indicators of fourth house activity being important, especially early in the month. And we're getting this for early in the month. Harmony around the home being something that's extra important to you, and harmony with family being something that's extra important to you, especially early in the month. And then we get the 10 of Skulls here for that first week, especially, or you could say first week or two. Very good card to get, considering that it's like you are going to get the harmony that you seek in all likelihood. So excellent. For your attitude or position on the situation about halfway through the month, you got the Hanged Man reversed. Show that here. Actually, I'm going to show it upright, or maybe I'm really showing it reversed because it's the Hanged Man. I don't know, but I'm going to show it like this, sort of the right way. You did get it reversed. But I'm going to show it like this for now, just so you can see it the way it's meant to be seen. Okay, so the Hanged Man reversed is often an indicator, and I would say especially so in the context of this reading, of sort of overcoming or having overcome a difficult trial or difficult situation. It's sort of like ascending from the underworld, ascending from a difficult, dark journey. And so I think that's how many of you are feeling this month, especially since this is about halfway through the month. And we know from your astrology reading that by then, all those planets had moved into your fifth house of fun, no longer in the sort of like serious and intense, intense in a very emotional way, fourth house, but now in the fifth house of fun and love and romance and all that stuff. And so looks like a lot of Cancer people out there are feeling like, oh, we are away from that more heavy emotional stuff and sort of ascending out of it, and now it's time to have more fun. So excellent card to get. And yes, I am aware the Hanged Man reversed can have negative connotations, but I don't see those as being applicable within the context of this reading. For the outside force coming in, you got the Three of Skulls reversed. So let me just show it upright so you can see it as it is meant to be seen. You did get it reversed, and you got it for the outside force coming in. Don't think it's going to focus. Oh well. So this is one area of potential complication this month for you, and an otherwise really great looking month, because Three of Skulls reversed is indicating, particularly as the outside force coming in, something or some situation, but most likely someone who is not cooperative with you, particularly in a communication sense, someone who's not communicating things clearly to you. And of course, we know Mercury's entering its retrograde shadow around like early mid-October. And so it's interesting that we have a card indicating a potential miscommunication coming your way, because that's exactly the kind of energy that's building up this month. So do be aware of that. Maybe someone will say something that is just not true, or they'll say it and they'll mean one thing, but you'll understand it as another. Let's see, Three of Skulls in particular, or Three of Pentacles, which it corresponds to. It could manifest as someone showing up who you want and or need to work with in some way, but who is uncooperative, who is unwilling to collaborate with you in the way that you are wanting. Those are the primary indications from this card, especially in the outside force coming in. But it could even be a situation that just presents itself that is like, oh, this isn't going to work very well, or like we're trying to cooperate and it's just not happening, or trying to work together to build something and it's just not happening, that sort of thing. But overall, it shouldn't be anything too bad considering the context of the reading. For your hopes or fears, you got the Ten of Scepters reversed. Just hold that up real quick. Yay, it focused. This corresponds to the Ten of Wands in the classic tarot deck, and you did get it reversed. I'm just holding it up right for now. And you got it in your hopes or fears. So Ten of Scepters reversed can often indicate letting go of quite the burden, letting go of a heavy burden. And what this says to me in this reading is that you are indeed this month hoping to be able to let go of a heavy burden. And remember what we saw early on with this energy of the Six of Knives in particular, saying, oh, moving forward, leaving the past behind, letting go of what is no longer good for you or what is no longer working or whatever, letting go of the heavy burden. You are hoping to be able to do that. And in addition to that, begin something new, as we saw with the Magician card falling in what you hope to achieve, new beginnings. And speaking of which, for the final outcome card, you got none other than the Sun. Behold. Kind of a bit of an ironic card, perhaps, to get in the, or for there just to be in the Tarot of Vampires deck, since the Sun is oh so deadly to vampires. But nevertheless, even in this deck, the Sun is a very positive card. And what do I mean by that more specifically? I mean that, well, like I said, with your wanting to achieve a new beginning and your challenge also be more optimism, well, this is how the month concludes for you. The Sun often indeed does talk about new beginnings and openings. It also talks about optimism. The Sun is just a great card all around. Talks about experiencing the joy of life, feeling alive and in love with life, and like a new joyful beginning, like almost like regaining one's childlike wonder at the magnificent mystery of life. And that's how you're concluding the month of October. And so that's just magnificent. And I think this also probably is connected to that influx of planets into your fifth house and all of that fifth house activity, because it's talking about the idea of fun and being very bold. And, you know, we could even say, well, technically, well, with this being the Sun, the fifth house corresponds to the sign of Leo, and Leo is ruled by the Sun, not the card, but the idea of the Sun astrologically. And so the Sun card, sort of loosely, but it definitely fits, is like a lot of that fifth house energy of fun and experiencing the joy of life and all of that. So yeah, like I said, this is a very positive reading overall, even with that little snag with the Three of Skulls reversed, outside force coming in. Basically, you're likely to move through that and still be enjoying life immensely with the Sun card concluding your month. And we're also seeing, again, a lot of indicators here of some kind of new beginning, of moving forward into something new. So enjoy your new beginning. The only thing I'd say about that is just remember, Mercury does go retrograde again at the very end of the month on Halloween. And so I would say keep your new beginnings to the beginning of the month if you can. But I mean, if you're going to try to engage in a new beginning, start something new at the end of the month, I mean, hey, I'm not going to stop you. I wouldn't be able to even if I tried. I'm just this tarot reader on the internet that you are watching right now. So use your own discretion, but overall, very positive energy indeed. And even like with getting the Devil card earlier for the underlying energy, but in this case, talking about the enjoyment of the physical pleasures of life, the Sun is even backing up that as well. So So yeah, Cancer, you really lucked out. It must be that influx of planets into your fifth house, guaranteeing October to be a really fun month for the vast majority of you. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you do indeed have a super fun, enjoyable October. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, feel free if you're not subscribed already, as I'll be back soon with more astrology and tarot related videos and forecasts. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.